Hello students, Ayan's online classes is back to you with a new interesting session. In today's session, we are going to see the second chapter of science, that is acids, bases and salts. So in the first ever lecture of the second chapter, we are going to see what exactly these acids, bases and salts are by taking the examples in our day-to-day life. As well, we are going to see what are the indicators which we are using for identifying these acids, bases and salts. So let's start today's interesting session. Now let's classify the things around us. Children, as I said, we are going to see the examples of acids, bases and salts which are present or which are used in our daily life. So let's start classifying the things which are present around us. Now, when we wake up early in the morning, we start getting fresh, okay, and one of the process in it is taking bath. After that, we go for washing clothes, okay. So the thing or the object which we are using is what? We are using a soap for taking bath, or we are using a soap or detergent for washing clothes, okay. So what is this soap? This is nothing but it is a type of base, okay. Then next thing, when after getting freshen up, we go for having a breakfast. Now here we have an orange, okay. Now orange is yellow in color. As everyone knows, all the objects which are all the fruits which are juicy and which are yellow in color, they contain citric acid, okay. So it may be lemon, it may be orange, okay. So what is the main content in it? It is vitamin C, which is nothing but the citric acid. So the breakfast which you had, so that is nothing but the acid. Now next is one more thing which we have after having a breakfast is the turn for lunch. Now the main ingredient which provides the taste to the food stuff is nothing but the salt. Okay. Now what is salt? The common salt which we use in the cooking, that is nothing but that is NaCl, and which is again a salt. Now how we get salt? That is again a process of neutralization. When acids and base react together, as a result, as a product, you are getting the salt. So now see, there is, when you heard the name of the chapter, that is acid, base and salt, that was sounding something huge, like they are certain chemicals. No children, these are not exactly the chemicals. They are chemicals, but even in our day-to-day life, we have uses of this acid, specific acids, like I talked, like I said about this lemon which has vitamin C, or orange. Then base, like we have soap, detergents, okay. So what are this? These are the bases. Then salt is the most common thing in every foodstuff. We need salt. So this are acid, bases and salts which we even use into our day-to-day life. Now let's see further. After seeing or after taking an introduction or classifying the things around us, let's see these things in a precise manner. Now, whatever things are present around us, they are classified hardly into three things. Like if you want to do the classification of matter, you will be able to classify it as, first one is as acids or bases or salts, as like we saw in the previous content. Like whatever content or whatever material is present around us, that can be easily classified into acids, bases or salts. Now let's start defining each of the element and let's see what exactly properties they exhibit. First one is acids. Like many a times we have heard of this term acid, okay. It's dangerous. Many a times the tankers, if you travel on a highway and if you are seeing any tanker, behind it will be like a mark like this. This is a symbol for being danger. If any tanker is carrying a acid, so what it is written? Don't touch, it's dangerous. Why like take an example of highway. You can take an example like, suppose a floor cleaning acids are also there. If you see a symbol is provided, same symbol of danger. Why? Because it is very difficult to handle acids. Even accidentally if it falls on the skin or body surface, it may cause burns on the skin. So that's why acids are always termed as dangerous. Now, and also they should be handled with utmost care. Now let's define these acids. Acids are the chemical substances which turn the blue litmus red. Like, this is what this blue litmus paper is nothing but the indicator. Now what are these indicators? We are going to see it in precise, but just here for an introduction part, what are this? These are the indicators which are helping us to identify whether the given substance is acidic or basic. So acids are the substances which turn the blue litmus red, and when dissolved in water they dissociate to give H plus ions. Okay, so in general what you can comment, the chemical substances which when dissolved in water, if they are giving H plus ions, so they will be termed as the acids. Now let's take a common example of acid, that is hydrochloric acid. Let me tell you children, hydrochloric acid is also present in our stomach. Like, it is one of the major ingredient which is helping the food to get digested, and it is secreted by the stomach muscles itself. Okay, so we can see not only around us, but acid is present also within us. Now when this hydrochloric acid is combining with water, you are getting H plus ions, that is it dissociates to give the H plus ions and chlorine ions. So whenever a chemical substance, when it is getting dissolved in water, if it is breaking into its constituent elements, like if you are able to get the hydrogen ions, then you are going to term that particular chemical substance as an acid, and it is going to be it is very essential to handle them with utmost care. Then let's see the general properties of an acid. Now, there might be certain things on the basis of which we will be able to classify the things. Now, let's see those properties. Acids are sour in taste. Okay, like how are they? They are sour in taste. Exactly, if you taste this lemon or orange many a times, they are very much sour in taste. Okay, if you taste them many a times, you will not be able to like take it into a concentrated form. You need to make a lemonade, or you need to add sugar into the orange juice. That can be the chances. So what is the taste of this lemon, or in general if I talk about what is the taste of the acids, it is sour in taste. Then what is the result that they show with the litmus paper? If you are inserting a blue litmus paper into an acid, it will turn it to be red. So what you need to remember, the second property, as whenever you are inserting a blue litmus paper into an acid, it is going to turn it red. Then acids are having corrosive nature. So what is this corrosive nature now? Now, if an acid falls accidentally on any metal, or you take it on your skin also, so it is going to lead to corrosion. The upper layer is going to get exfoliated. It is going to get it will show the corrosive behavior. So that's why it is said that it is dangerous to touch, or you need to handle it with utmost care. Then the next property is, when you are dissolving any kind of acid into water, it will dissociate and it will give you out H plus ions, that is hydrogen ions will be dissociated into the water. So these are the four basic properties regarding the acid which gives it the characteristic behavior. So now let's move towards the bases. Now, bases are the chemical substances which turn red litmus blue. In acids, we saw that the blue litmus was turning red. Now, here what is happening? Bases are the chemical substances which turn red litmus blue, and when dissolved in water, they dissociate to give OH minus ions. Now, see children, opposite, okay, on the contrary, you can say opposite behavior these two are showing. When bases are turning the red litmus blue, and when they are getting dissolved into water, they are giving out OH minus ions. And let's take an example now. NaOH, mostly whenever you are dealing with the bases, all the hydroxides, okay, all the hydroxides, that is the compounds which are having the hydroxide group, 99% majority of them are the bases. When you are trying to mix the sodium hydroxide with water, it will dissociate and you are going to get Na plus Na, which is in the aqueous state, plus the OH ions, okay, OH minus ions again, which is a you can say aqueous state, okay. So these are the bases. Then let's see the properties of the bases. Like in the introduction part we saw what are bases. Example like soap and detergents. If ever accidentally while taking bath, like if you taste it, like regarding acids we took an example of lemon or orange that we have already tasted, but here the case was of soap and no one might have tasted it, but accidentally while taking bath, if it might have touched your tongue, so what is the taste of soap? Yeah, so you can tell it easily that it this bases are bitter in taste, okay. Then if I talk about the taste, they are bitter in taste, and that only regarding litmus paper. If we need to comment, the red litmus paper is going to turn blue. Then bases give a feel of being soapy or soft to touch, like we have already experienced with the soap. If they get in contact with water already, even if they are dry, they are soapy. That is, if they come in contact with the moisture, they will produce the froth, okay, lather will be produced, and they are extremely soft to touch, and that only if they are in contact with water for longer duration, they will become much softer, okay. And also when they are dissolved in water, they are going to dissociate and they will produce the OH minus ions. So these are the general properties of the bases. Now let's come to the another part, that is alkali. Now this is a type of base, or you can see a classification of base. Now let's see what are these alkalis. All bases are not soluble in water. Like we wanted to taste regarding the solubility. Like what are the bases? Like we said, when they dissolve in water, we are getting OH minus ions. But what if the bases are not soluble in water? What in that case if a particular base is there and which is not soluble in water? So such bases, like that is mentioned over here, all bases are not soluble in water, and the bases which are not soluble in water are called alkalis, okay. The bases which are soluble in water, they are called as the alkali bases, okay. So that is the major difference. Then let's take some examples of the alkali bases, okay. Now again, as I said, we are going to try to relate acid bases and salts with the things which are exactly present into our houses, okay. So let's start with it. So examples, first example is of baking soda. Now baking soda has a pH of 8. Then next we will come to the toothpaste. Toothpaste, if we talk about, the pH value for base is for this toothpaste is 8. Then let's come to the soap. Soap is having a pH of 10. Then Reni indigestion tablets, if you have an acidity issue, if you have been suggested for a antacid, so that tablets, they will be having a pH of 10. Then washing powder or detergent which we are using to clean the clothes, that will be having an pH of 11. Then the bleach which is used for again cleaning clothes, that is also having a pH of 12. Bases have the pH which is greater than 7, okay. So these are all the bases which are soluble in the water, and they are called as the alkali bases, okay. So this already we have seen with the help of the household examples. Now after seeing acids and bases, let's come to the another point, that is salts. Now salts, a very common ingredient which is used at home. Every foodstuff is incomplete without the use of salt. Now after seeing acidic and basic, now there comes a question. Now how can we define a neutral substance? Okay, there are certain things like acids which are having the pH which is less than 7. Then there are base who are having a pH which is more than 7. But what for the case which regarding if you are having a substance which is neither acidic nor basic, then how you are going to define it? Now see, the substances which are neither acidic nor basic are neutral substances. Okay, if there is a category of substances which is not showing the characteristic of acids as well as the bases, we are going to term them as the neutral substances. And salts are the neutral substances which are neither acidic nor basic. They are formed when an acid reacts with a base. Now, how exactly are we getting these salts? Firstly, we came to know that salts are neutral. That is, they are neither acidic nor they are basic. Then next we saw how they are formed. They are formed when an acid reacts with a base. So here we have taken a base, that is sodium hydroxide. As I said, whenever a hydroxide group is there, you are going to term that compound as base. And next we have taken an acid, that is hydrochloric acid. Now when this sodium hydroxide reacts with, which is a base, when it reacts with the acid hydrochloric acid, you are going to get NaCl. That is nothing but the common salt which we use at the home. This is nothing but the common salt which we use at the home for cooking, and without which the dishes are almost incomplete. And as a byproduct, water will be given out. So what is this? Salts are, what did we learn regarding salts then? Salts are the substances which are neither acidic nor basic. They are the neutral substances. And regarding their formation or their production, they are formed when the acids are going to react with the bases. Most common example we have taken of the formation of sodium chloride, which we have got after the reaction of the base sodium hydroxide with the acid hydrochloric acid. Now, after seeing what are the acids, what are bases, and what are the salts and how they are produced, now let's start for the identification of the things. How we are going to identify? How to identify if any substance is acidic or basic in nature? Like every now and then, running to a lab if you want to check any ingredient is present at the home, and if you feel like that you need to check its nature, whether it is acidic or basic, then will you run to the lab? Or then what is the next thing? Should we taste it then? Is it possible? Should we taste the soap? Or if you want to take, if you want to check for any object which is not edible, then what will you do? Okay, so now see, it is not possible to taste all the substances in order to know whether it is acid or a base or a salt. That is the major thing. Like all the things are not edible. Like every time you can't taste, like we saw acidic substances are sour in taste, or bases are, like you can say, bitter in taste. So in order to classify, and if you are getting any taste which is apart from this, you can term it as a neutral one. But that is not the case. This is applicable to the things which are edible. But what regarding the things which are not edible? We can't taste them. So let's see what else we can do to identify or to classify the things as acids, bases, or salts. Yeah, to reduce our work or to make it simpler for us, we have a term which is called as indicators. Now, since the session started, we have seen an indicator which is named as a litmus paper. Now, exactly first, let us define what are indicators and let's see them in precise. Indicators are the substances that are used to taste whether a substance is acidic or basic or neutral in nature. Now, indicators. From the name itself, we get that they indicate something. Correct? They indicate something. So, what are the indicators over here? One indicator which commonly we hear is the indicators which are provided to the vehicles, to the bikes, to the four-wheelers, which are showing the direction where you are turning. That is, it is showing something. In this similar fashion, the indicators which are used in the science are used to indicate whether a substance is having an acidic nature or basic, or whether it is neutral in the nature. Now, how we are going to observe this? They change their color when they are added to a solution depending upon like the substance in which it is added, whether it is acidic or a basic substance. So when you drop an indicator, okay, there is a separate range of chemicals which are used as indicators, and when you insert this indicator into the element which you want to check whether it is acidic or basic, as soon as you drop the indicator into the beaker or the container in which you are tasting, it will show the color change depending upon whether the substance present in the beaker is acidic or basic in nature. Now these are what, like, instead of tasting, you can use or you can make the use of the indicators for checking the nature. Then let's classify these indicators, children. Now the first ever classification is natural indicators, that is which have their existence into the nature freely. Those are produced naturally. The next one is synthetic indicators, and last one olfactory indicators. Now olfactory, when we hear, it is related to somehow our senses. Okay, so now let's see, it is somehow related to our senses. Now let's first start with the natural indicators. Now as I said, natural indicators exist freely into the nature. They are produced naturally. So few examples of this natural indicators are, you can take a turmeric. Turmeric changes red when it is added to a acidic medium, and it maintains its color if it is added to a base. Then one more, we can take an example of a red cabbage. Even red cabbage can be used as an indicator for checking whether the substance provided is acidic, basic, or you can say, or it is neutral. Then let's move ahead for seeing the further classification which is widely used in the laboratories, that is synthetic indicators. Now few examples I have taken: litmus paper, which we are having blue and red in color. Then next indicator is phenolphthalein, which when added changes or gives a very beautiful pink color to the chemical. Then next one is the methyl orange. So these are the few examples of synthetic indicators which are produced artificially and which are indicating whether the substance given is acidic, basic, or neutral. Then next we come to the olfactory indicators. Now an olfactory indicator is a substance whose smell varies depending upon whether it is mixed with an acidic or basic solution. As we had a guesswork that olfactory is relating to somehow senses. Now here which sense of ours is used? Here we are using the sense of smelling, okay, taking the aroma. So what is happening is olfactory indicators are the substances which when added to acidic substances, they are having a different smell, and when they are added to a basic solution, their smell is something different. Now olfactory indicators can be used in the laboratory to test whether a solution is a base or an acid. Example, most common examples are the onions as well as the cloves. Okay, so these are the best examples of the olfactory indicators. Now children, after taking an introduction of what are these acids, bases and salts, and as in the beginning we assured, you are going to learn regarding the acids, bases and salts with the things which are readily available around you. So after seeing this, or after checking the nature of the substances around you, so what is your to do at home work, or what is the task or a fun segment for you people to check it out at home? Now you are going to tell the names of the indicators which are available at home. As like I said, I gave an example of turmeric and cabbage. If you know anything which can be used as an indicator, please do comment in the comment section and let us know what else indicators do you people have at your home. It may be a synthetic one or it may be a natural one, but natural one will be a preferred more. Let's check out what are the natural indicators which are present at your home. Please do comment and let us know. I hope everyone is now much clear with the concept regarding the acids, bases and salts, and you will do the task which is provided to do at home. Team Ayanch looks forward to have you on board. Please visit our website ianchonlineclasses.com for detailed information, and kindly like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you have loved today's session, don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Ayanch Online Classes. If any queries or suggestions, feel free to drop it into the comment section. Thank you.